Thank you again for joining us today for a conversation around creating a fairer future for all, how cities and regions can enable the just transition to 1.5-degree living. Cities, towns, and regions are the essential backdrop to human life, where we play, live, and work. They're on the front line of the climate emergency, as we heard from the earlier panel, and critical to our response. Today, among other achievements, we are celebrating 1,049 cities joining the Cities Race to Zero, representing 722 million people, and whose collective action has the potential to reduce global emissions by 1.4 gigatons annually by 2030. We're also celebrating 7 state and regional governments in Race to Zero. These commitments and actions are both proof and blueprint of the pathway possible to have emissions by 2030 and achieve net zero no later than 2050. Delivering these objectives will require bold and ambitious action, not in 5 or 20 years, but today, tomorrow, and every year of the coming decade, something our esteemed panelists today know and champion. I'd like to introduce you to our distinguished local government leaders who are leading the way to a circular and just transition. Minna Arve, Mayor of Turku, Finland. Mayor, welcome. David Ige, Governor of the State of Hawaii. Welcome, Governor. Claudio Castro, the Mayor of Renca, Chile. And Abdelatif Mazouz, President de la Région Casablanca-Settat from Morocco. Bienvenue. Joining us on screen today is Pamela Escobar Vargas, a youth climate activist from Mexico City. Pamela represents the generation that will inherit the world we're building today. So to kick us off, we'd like to hear from her perspective as a young climate leader. I understand that we now may have Pamela. So I'm going to go and ask our actual youth activists who are the leaders of today, from my perspective. Pamela, we've heard from 4 tremendous leaders. You have the floor, and I look forward to your comments and remarks.
Good morning. I'm so sorry for the technical problems, but it's a pleasure for me to be here. In light of the knowledge that this summit is perhaps the last call for urgent action, I want to begin by pointing out that the negotiation up to remain insufficient. The agreements are either not binding, or they are not signed by all highly pollution countries, or they continue to privilege capital over life. Politicians show us in every war that they continue to bet on the same system that has led us to environmental collapse. That is that of neoliberal capitalism, the current savage and predatory economic model. Transnational companies, ecocidal par excellence, deserve to be singled out and held accountable like never before. Their names as extractive fossil companies, Shell, ExxonMobil, and from Mexico, Pemex and Mexico Group as food companies, Coca-Cola and Nestlé as textile companies, Zara, Bershka, Victoria's Secret, just to mention a few. The individual actors of capitalism, the hoarders of wealth, promoters of overwhelming inequality, must also be forced to an equitable economic distribution. Some of their names, Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk, who compete in a space racing show as if there is no planet or society to save. The religion of the aforementioned international actors, that of unlimited economic growth, is causing multiple damage to society and the environment. For this reason, having stated this, I speak of cities, regions, and the just transition as aspects that must encompass changes in a radical and systemic change, and not from simple mechanisms that reproduce acts of greenwashing and green capitalism. The truly just transition must contain elements such as the following. 1. The economic and political distribution of the global north toward the global south, financing much more than $100 billion per year for the global south, and abandoning neocolonialism and overconsumption and overproduction of rich countries. 2. The recognition that the rationality of modernity reified and commodified life. The epistemologies of the South and the worldviews of the original communities should be prioritized. 3. The revelation of alternative economic and social models to capitalism, such as the solidarity economy, good living, eco-socialism, political ecology, or the decolonial community economies of the indigenous people. 4. The transition to plant-based food system through actions such as the elimination of factory farming, the adaptation of vegetable menus in different agencies, and raising awareness about speciesism and bioethics. 5. The reduction and regulation of the monopoly financial power of transnational companies, and on the other hand, the vindication of the rights of peasant, indigenous people, and local businesses. 6. Strengthening the legal obligation to comply with international treaties. The soft law in environmental matters must be eliminated. 7. Of course, the prioritization of renewable energies and the end of the fossil imperialism. And 8. Finally, and very important, intersectoral and intergenerational work for climate justice. Answering the question how youth and mayors can work together, the best example of efficient action on this point is the Global Youth and Mayors Forum, C40, of which I'm part. This is the first of its kind platform that brings together a small group of youth leaders and mayors to work together, demonstrating that the changes in unity and alliance are graded. We have carried out substantial activities such as the joint statement that was signed by youth and mayors ahead of COP, and as well as the empowerment of young people in high-level spaces like this one. All cities in the world should implement projects such as the Global Youth and Mayors Forum, which integrate the voices of those who are made invisible despite the fact that they will be the most affected. These proposals, along with many others, must stop being negotiated. The social and environmental future is not negotiated. It's respected and protected without doubts or limitations. If the political and economic leaders don't achieve something really radical and systemic at this summit, they will have shown us, young people, and the whole of humanity that they support a system of death. The just transition is not talked about, it is demonstrated. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Pamela, for that very clear and powerful statement. I hope you heard the applause here for your comments and remarks, and we're delighted that you're able to join us and bring a very clear perspective. And I can't speak for Pamela, she's one of the leaders of today, but I think I can take one thing from what she said, which is the system isn't working, and we need to fix it.